Hey, Jack. Gaffy. What's going on here? Hey.
Oh, dude, what's going on?
Not much. What about you?
Oh, not much. Just getting ready to cut a big job, mate. How you been?
Yeah, good. Just come to shoot another video with you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you ready for it?
Yeah, how about that black duck video, mate?
I know, it went viral, eh?
Bloody viral.
Good
Righto.
stuff. So what do we got going on here? What are we shooting?
Oh, man, I don't know. What do you reckon? We've got a pretty cool job up in Sydney we could go check out up to the Australian Museum if you want to.
Oh, just that little job?
Yeah, just a little one. What do you reckon?
That sounds pretty good.
Let's go check it out. Okay, so here we are, Australian National Museum, right in the heart of Sydney. It's pretty cool to be here and working on this job. It's a great significance, I guess, and we worked alongside the Kool Duct on the project, and ultimately we've delivered a world-class solution. As you can see, this is the long gallery which we've conducted the HVAC fit out of. And yeah, it's a real flagship project for us, and it was great to work alongside Kool Duct. So come have a look inside. As you can see, it's a pretty stunning building, so we've got to be a little bit quieter in here. But where we're going is right up there in that roof space above the skylight. That's where all the technology is happening, and that's where we're shaping the future of the HVAC industry. So come on, let's go. So why pre-insulated ducting on this job? Well, we were specified for this tricky project because, as you can see, we've got a beautiful old existing structure that's getting retrofitted, so there's a lot of engineering constraints that needed to be overcome, and one of those was space, and that's where pre-insulated duct's really coming into its own in terms of this capability, because we've been able to reduce that space with a 42mm product rated at R2, which has ultimately given Kool Duct the right capacity to complete the job. Let's have a look around, okay?
Sounds good. Point out some of the sights for us. What do we got?
We've got the old Centrepoint Tower sitting pretty over there. Come up on the roof and have a better look around. How lucky are we? This is about the sexiest air conditioning job on the planet, eh? Okay, so we're here up in the roof space now on top of the ground floor, and you can see all our R2 ALP ducting up here. We put on this 4-bolt flange for this job because all these 1150 lengths had to be brought in, obviously up the stairs, lifts, so it was had to come a long way from the loading dock, and it's come straight down that staircase there, straight up into hang, 4 bolts, and it's done. It's a system that's used heavily in sheet metal as well, and everyone's pretty familiar with it. So we went with that for speed of install and flexibility over some of the other options that we've got available, like the slide and drive and the shiplapping methods and things like that. So the reality of this project was the design, the engineering, things were changing on the fly, and what gave us the ability to execute the mission under the time limit was the reworkability of this product. The over here is a really good example. This setup, set down area changed quite a lot in design throughout the course of the project, and the boys were on site here in the roof space, a knife, a ruler, a bit of urethane. They're able to modify these bends, transitions, set up, set downs, and produce an airtight system. You know, all in the day's work, and that's why we got this job commissioned on time. It's simply not feasible in sheet metal. This stuff would have to go back to the factory, more designs, more cutting. Right here, it was reworked with some simple hand tools, and even R2 it can be done. So it's really given us a great amount of flexibility on this job. So 80% of the penetrations that come off this ring main return air ducting up here all had to be custom fitted. So what we did for the team here is instead of cutting these penetrations in the factory, because that was a fluid spec was constantly changing, we provided the install team with the kit to cut the penetrations with some hand tools, some battery powered tools and some flanging. Aluminium profiles just drop straight on, and that duct can be just punctured straight into the ring main in under 10 minutes. So it makes that process pretty simple, because if you're doing this sheet metal, it'd be an absolute service, I can guarantee you that much. This is the skylight that you could see from down on the ground floor, and over here we've got some of the return air penetrations that come down from the lower level. Every one of these penetrations here and these drop downs were all custom, every single one custom offsets, custom measurements, so that just gives you an idea in the complexity of this job. That certainly wasn't a 2-second exercise, but as you can see, we've managed to produce a really aesthetic product, even though it is in a roof space, and completely functional at the same time. And I've been talking about this space saving, and we'll jump down there in a minute and have a look along that boardwalk. But here they've been really able to maximise that what was initially a small return air size, and keep that airway size as big as possible. This is the part where I make you squeeze through a tiny hole, sucker.
Oh, come on, man. Is that it? Is that the hatch?
That's it. We're going down. As you can see, there's a lot happening here. We have to achieve a few things in this particular point. We have to ensure that there's enough space for continual facility management down the line. And we also had to set our way around these lights so that we didn't cast any shadow down onto the skylight. So that's resulted in all these offsets here. But the great thing about this product is we were able to do all this accurately measured, sent to the factory. We're able to construct all this in one piece and bring it into a really tight roof space with just one person can bring it down, drop it on, 4x flange, zip it up. So that is really showing you how we're dropping those install times and bringing precision made parts to the millimetre right to the site and having them slot in. Another advantage of using pre-insulated duct board like this Alp duct that you can see here is obviously the lightweight compared to that 75mm perf sheet metal. This here is quite a dangerous scenario with this skylight dropping right down to that bottom floor. So we have to have workers suspended in here on harness to get this duct up, and you know, no backs were broken in the process. 1 or 2 people can easily handle this duct, and you don't have to worry about, you know, that OH&S factor on these tricky style jobs. So it gave Coral Air a huge amount of flexibility in terms of, you know, their capacity and not to stretch the OH&S envelope as well. All up the 4 floors of this museum, we've constructed the riser duct, which is actually located behind this wall cavity here. We're about to jump in there in a minute, but to give you a bit of an overview, there's a bend there that the supply duct drops from the roof space out of the package unit and returns into this cavity here. So super tight space, and in order to get our rigid duct into this cavity, what we did is we constructed in really small sections, 500 odd sections. We slipped it through this penetration in the wall and down. We used an in-house cut shiplap joining method. So with a bead of high strength urethane, the supply air duct was actually constructed inside this cavity, something that you cannot do with sheet metal. So let me come inside and I'll show you around.
Is that all the space we've got?
Yeah. I'll go back to that corner, and then you come in, and then I'll come in behind you. Peekaboo. We're in here in the supply duct cavity. As you can see, not much room for activities in here. space was a big limitation. Okay, so the pre-insulated panel with that overall size and dimensions saving we've had, we can have an access port here for facility management down the line, and we can maximise the airway size again. And you can just see some of these nice offsets that were created. Gives you an idea of some of the challenges of the space that we were working in, and just shows off a little bit of our workmanship as well. Okay, I'm going to hide here. You go around this. Okay, so as I was saying earlier on, this duct was handed through the top, up there through that cavity, and it was brought down, and it was built from the bottom up. These pieces put on top of each other, and they were joined here with a shiplap joint, high strength urethane tape, and all this section of duct up there has no flanging on it. So that's again great for access, and was really the only way to build this duct under a sensible time frame with this panel.
That was a bit tight.
Yeah, she's tight, all right. How about the view, guys? It's good to be out of that hot roof space now. Just looking back over the whole job, I've got to say it's a real pleasure to have worked here on such a site of public significance, the Australian National Museum. And also truly proud to be forging the way in the HVAC industry, showing everyone what we can do with pre-insulated panel, and that we're delivering what is a highly efficient and an eco-sensitive solution designed for tomorrow. So if you want to find out more, if you want to take it to the next step, reach out, hit us up on our social pipes, Kool Duct Solutions with a K. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're all over it. Okay, get up on the web, check it out, give me and Roger a call, and we'll help engineer you a high-tech system for the future.